Alright, this is our next installment on the bike. As you see, there's been a few changes on the bike. One of the changes is we went back to the drag bars because we're having an issue getting the cable for the brake. It's too short and it's going to be about a month to get it. So we went back to the drag bars to help that situation out. As you can see, it's a little bit long here. We're going to have to route it up underneath the motorcycle a little bit to hide the cable. The second thing that we did was we installed the chain. It can be a little bit tricky, but what we did was we pulled both of these adjustment knobs so that the tire was all the way forward, and then you're only going to have enough room to get the master link in somewhere in here, bringing the master link out and putting the link on the outside of the bike right here, and then you're just going to adjust the tire back evenly so that you get the right amount of tension on the chain. The second thing that we did was we installed the shifter, which honestly is a very, very cool deal. There's a couple little things that you need to know here. You're going to get a little kit that's going to come with it. You're going to be able to take a couple bolts out down here. You're going to put in some sleeves so that it extends the shifter out a little bit. And then down here, you want to make sure that the shift bracket is a horizontal position here, and you're definitely going to have to make sure that the cover above that is off. Otherwise, you won't be able to tighten that bolt up down there on the shifter bracket. But honestly, it's really a nice shifter. It works really well. The next thing that we did, we installed the carburetor. That seemed pretty straightforward. This cable up on the top is going to be a little bit bent down to get the gas tank to go over the top. It doesn't seem to be a problem at this point, but we'll see how it operates after that. We also put the 9/10 of oil in the motor already, which goes in right there.
Need to open it?
Nope. And then well, the other thing that we also did is we did the gas tank. We got the thread sealant on the gas tank, so now we've got the petcock on and we've got some sealant on it, so it looks really good. And we're going to let it dry. We're going to let it dry overnight. This is the stuff that we used, which is basically just form a gasket fast drying. It's made specifically for gas, and we'll let that sit overnight. Another little thing that I wanted to talk about. Yep, another little thing that I want to talk about was down here on this foot pedal. It's supposed to have a bolt that goes through here, and this sits down and rests against a set screw which goes right there. And the set screw that they supplied, basically what they've done is they stripped out the threads down here. So we're going to go back and rethread that to a larger thread and retap it, put an Allen screw in there so that this pedal doesn't sit down like this and it sits nice and flush like that. We made the clutch adjustments. We think that works properly. We did adjust the nut down there, and then we adjusted the adjustment nut right down here. Right there, we've adjusted that nut right there. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to take this little bracket that came, we're not sure what it's for, but we're going to pull this bolt, put this bracket on here so that the spark plug cable doesn't end up rubbing against your leg. As far as that goes, that's it. That's all we've done for this installment of this video. We'll have more hopefully by tomorrow. Otherwise, that's it for now. So far so good, other than some pieces missing and some delays on some parts. We'll see how it goes. Okay, today's progress, we did the fuel tank. Everything seemed to go okay on the fuel tank. We had to add a couple of extra washers between the frame and the bracket so that it filled up the gap, and then we put the rubber washer on the outside along with the flat steel washer, and we tightened that down. We did not over tighten that though. The next thing that we had done is that we installed the fuel line, and the way they've got it routed on their instructions, there's no possible way that it could go behind on the top of the motor up there. So what we did is we took this piece and we put it up there on the head, and so that it keeps the gas line off of from overheating, I guess. Put the fuel filter on, and then we did get the line into the carburetor. It looks okay. It'll keep it from getting overheated on the carburetor and starting to fire. The next thing that we did was we installed the kickstart, which went pretty well. You do got to remove the center bolt, and you do got to back out the set screw to get that to go on, and you want to line the screw up with the slot in the kickstart shaft there. The next thing we did is we installed the front headlight.
It's just 2 screws, right?
Just the two screws there with some blue Loctite, and then of course we'll have to adjust the headlight accordingly. So then what we did is we went on to the battery and got the battery in there. There is a slight problem though, getting the battery inside that box according to the instructions. It's really, really tight, and you might scrape the top of the battery just a little bit just to get the battery in there. What we did is we made sure the terminals were on the right hand side on this video near the pad that you can see.